Bakary Sagna believes Paul Pogba would jump at the chance of joining Manchester United for a third time in order to work with Ruben Amorim. The French World Cup winner is currently without a club after mutually agreeing to terminate his Juventus contract earlier this month, having played just 12 games during his second stint with the Serie A giants. Pogba's free agent status comes on the back of being slapped with a 4-year doping ban in September 2023 after taking an illegal substance. Facing the potential end of his footballing career, the 31-year-old's suspension was reduced to 18 months by the Court of Arbitration for Sport (CAS) earlier this year, who adjudged Pogba to have unintentionally taken the substance. The ruling means that the France international can return to training in January and can start playing for a club in March. Still only 31 years of age, Pogba's quality remains, and a potentially stunning return to Manchester, 2 years after leaving the club for a second time, could be on the cards, according to his former France colleague Sagna. The ex-Arsenal and Manchester City defender believes the opportunity to work under Amorim could result in Pogba donning the United shirt once again. Sagna, 41, told Megadice, "It's a different situation today at Manchester United to when Paul was previously there. United have a young coach, a coach that has been a player, a coach that understands the situation," he explained. He will probably be willing to have a player like Paul at his training sessions. Amorim was a player himself, so I'm sure the coach will be open to seeing him getting back home because he loves United. I have talked many times with Paul. He loves United. The only problem was the situation when he came back. That was a spell where things didn't go as well as they should have done, but Paul wasn't the only player that struggled at United during the time he was there. United have struggled in midfield as of late due to injuries to Kobbie Mainoo and Manuel Ugarte. It was a duo of Casemiro and Christian Eriksen who started in United's 1-1 draw with Ipswich Town, with both players subbed off in the second half. Few players have benefited more from Manchester United's decision to sack Erik ten Hag than Manuel Ugarte. The defensive midfielder, who joined United from Paris Saint-Germain on the final day of the summer transfer window, struggled for minutes prior to the Dutchman's exit on October 28th, making just 7 appearances, only 4 of which were starts. United spent almost all summer chasing Ugarte in their quest to shore up their midfield, and they reached a breakthrough in negotiations in the closing stages of the transfer window. He signed a 5-year deal after United agreed a £42.3 million fee with the French club. Ugarte was expected to immediately slot into Ten Hag's first-choice midfield and provide the defensive steel that had been lacking. However, Ten Hag was reluctant to pick him, handing him just 1 Premier League start. It was revealed by the Manchester Evening News at the end of October that the Uruguayan was Ten Hag's third-choice midfield signing during the summer. However, Ten Hag's exit marked a watershed moment in Ugarte's United career. He started each of Ruud van Nistelrooy's 4 games in interim charge, developing a strong bond with Casemiro at the base of United's midfield. It was a partnership that developed over Van Nistelrooy's 4 games at the helm, with the summer signing producing arguably his best performance in United colours in the 3-0 win over Leicester City prior to the international break. The 23-year-old won 8 tackles, the most a United player ever has in a Premier League fixture since such data started being recorded, and produced 3 interceptions against the Foxes, highlighting his ball-winning capabilities in the centre of midfield. His ball-winning expertise is the reason United were so keen to bring him to Old Trafford in the summer. Sporting director Dan Ashworth said at the time of Ugarte's arrival, "Signing Manuel was another of our primary targets for this summer. He is among the very best ball-winning midfield players in the world and has an excellent record at both club and international level. His qualities, experience and passion will be a great complement to our strong group of midfielders." Ugarte provided further evidence of his ball-winning capabilities in Thursday night's 3-2 Europa League win over Bodo Glimt, after being recalled to the starting 11th by Ruben Amorim, who named him on the bench away at Ipswich Town. He won 4 tackles and made 2 interceptions against the Norwegian side. He also provided the assist for Rasmus Højlund's winner. Of course, sterner tests lie ahead for both Ugarte and United, but he has demonstrated in recent weeks he can be the midfield anchor this team has been crying out for. He is the perfect shield for the defence, and his profile makes him the perfect foil for Kobbie Mainoo, who is still waiting to earn his first appearance since Amorim took charge. Ugarte, who worked with Amorim at Sporting Lisbon, will have ambitions of becoming a regular in Amorim's side. Many anticipate he and Mainu will form Amorim's first-choice midfield partnership. Producing 19 tackles in 6 games since Ten Hag's departure, Ugarte is slowly beginning to show why the Dutchman was wrong to overlook him as often as he did. He has averaged 5.18 tackles per 90 in the Premier League so far this season, the most of any United player who has made 3 appearances or more. It was clear from Ashworth's statement that United had identified Ugarte as the missing link in their midfield because of his defensive profile. They wanted to find someone who could wrestle the ball back and be an elite-level destroyer. Ugarte will only get better the more he plays. United might just have found the ball-winning expert they were desperate for. New Leicester City manager Ruud van Nistelrooy will be watching on as interim Ben Dawson takes charge against Brentford in the Premier League after agreeing to join the Foxes. Incoming, Ruud van Nistelrooy will have a watching brief when Leicester City travel to Brentford on Saturday. Former Manchester United striker Van Nistelrooy was confirmed as Steve Cooper's replacement on Friday, but the appointment was not made in time for him to take charge against Thomas Frank's Bees. Ben Dawson will assume interim charge instead. And asked yesterday to describe his approach, the coach said, "We take a bit of everything." I think there were good elements in how Steve was getting the team to play, but there are areas to improve. Van Nistelrooy was unbeaten during 4 games in interim charge of United following the sacking of Erik Ten Hag. But former Leicester and Arsenal striker Alan Smith has already written off the Dutchman before he gets going in the East Midlands. "I don't see Ruud van Nistelrooy and Leicester as a good match," Smith told Megadice.com. "I feel as though his mind would be elsewhere on the bigger jobs available if he were to do well. He used to be a big-time player, and you carry that attitude through as a coach. He got good experience at PSV Eindhoven, winning a few domestic cups. He has been an assistant with the Netherlands national team, and he impressed whilst he was interim manager of Manchester United. I just wouldn't say he was the right man for Leicester at this stage." Meanwhile, Dawson has said some players have been reprimanded after a video leaked of them next to a board reading "Enzo, I miss you" during their Christmas party in Copenhagen last weekend. While the players were allowed to attend the night out in Denmark, appearing to laugh at a sign referencing former manager Maresca on the same weekend Cooper was sacked has been deemed disrespectful. "The time off was scheduled," Dawson said. "The players are entitled to do what they want with that time off. The particular issue has been dealt with internally, and we've all moved on from it. They've had that key message from the club that what's gone on was not acceptable, and we need to move on. All eyes have since been on training well and putting in a performance tomorrow." Rasmus Højlund wants to shoulder the responsibility for firing Manchester United back to the top. The Red Devils have been widely linked to signing a new forward since the arrival of Ruben Amorim from Sporting CP. After leading a free-scoring team in Portugal with a striker in Victor Gyökeres who had already scored 23 goals in 18 games, Amorim arrived at Old Trafford to a team who had only scored 12 goals in 11 outings. In just his second match in charge, he has seen Højlund score a brace, having also provided the hard work for Alejandro Garnacho's tap-in against Bodo Glimt. The Dane found the net 16 times in his debut season, including 5 goals in 6 Champions League appearances. Højlund is keen to provide a more consistent offering for United's front line, however. The 21-year-old is enthusiastic by the task of becoming as prolific as Gyökeres I think I showed last season, with being top scorer for the team that I can score my goals, Højlund said, when asked if he could fulfill the same role as Amorim's previous sharpshooter. "I'm still very young, but obviously I would like to take the responsibility, and that's why I also took the number 9 this year, because I think I want to take the next level and the next step. But yeah, I still have a lot to grow. I'm still not the finished article. I'm only 21. Højlund already appears to be taking on advice from Amorim to find success. The ex-Copenhagen striker benefited from the words of his new boss, as he was inspired to close down and dispossess goalkeeper Nikita Kaikin ahead of United's opening goal. "He told me today not to think too much about the guys behind me and try to work a little bit more with just what I can see in front. To be very aggressive towards the goal," said Højlund. And obviously, we saw that with the first goal, and I was happy with that. United's number 9 also made use of Amorim's words of wisdom when he scored the winning goal on Thursday evening as he converted a low Manuel Ugarte cross. The manager told me at half-time to stick to running to the first post, and we saw how it worked out, he added.